there are still so many. A case of Zimbabwe on the horizon, right? After the Zimbabwe game, we will be able to now look at the first game and the second game and say, okay, there's a definite path. The issue of the set piece, he worked on that. He showed that, yes, over the years, before now, what we've always relied on is JJ Okocha trying to, bend one in. The set piece is usually a waste, for us. But then, if we can get more goals via the set piece, we can maybe start looking at ourselves as a master of dark art. Like you already said, look forward to the next game.
All right, let's look forward to the next game. It's pretty interesting as far as that one is concerned. Okay, let's go to the camp of the Zimbabweans. Talking about the Warriors of Zimbabwe, we had the defender Emmanuel Jalai emphasized that the Warriors are committed to giving their best at the upcoming 2026 FIFA World Cup qualifying match against Nigeria. The team aims to secure their first win in the qualifiers during the encounter at the Godswill Akpabio International Stadium in Uyo. Jalai acknowledged Zimbabwe has the potential to impose themselves on the game with their own quality players. They arrived on Saturday, okay, and if you take a look at it, very, very competitive, if you ask me. Very, very competitive game.
Jerry, the Zimbabweans are actually in the same situation we're in, not where they want to be. No team wants to be at the rock bottom of this sort of group. Everybody wants to be in the World Cup. And if you remember, I think it was last week, the captain of the side, Musuna, who is of course an attacker, was also saying something similar.
And he scored over the weekend.
He was also saying something similar to this. In a game where we look at them as inferior, right? Looking at our opponent as inferior is usually very challenging. And I thank God we are going to be playing this. We should take the statement of this guy, these Zimbabweans, very serious, because in this sort of games, right, just one slip, we'll be in trouble. This is exactly what I want to see. I want to see our opponents come out and charge in on us. If they start showing too much respect, it's going to become a problem. It might bring complacency and laxity. So yes, Jerry, this guy's got a very, he's not just speaking for himself, he's speaking for the team. He's talking about how Denise was part of the team backroom staff in 2006. So he's got a wealth of experience at the highest level. So trust me, it's going to be an interesting game. I sleep, especially when we see statements like this. It means that there's war, and we should be playing in Brazil or one of the big countries.
For talking about any by the Super. Meanwhile, the head coach of the Warriors of Zimbabwe, Michael Nees, emphasized the need for his team to perform at their best to have a chance against the Super Eagles in their upcoming World Cup qualifier in Uyo, which comes up tomorrow, Tuesday. And Zimbabwe is seeking their first win in the qualifiers, having previously drawn 1-1 with Nigeria in their first leg in Rwanda. That the impressive roster and recent victory in Rwanda. He described the upcoming match as an exciting challenge, stating that both teams will be eager to turn their campaigns around. He believes that the Super Eagles will come into the game with confidence. When you see Osimhen running at you, I don't know how confident that defender is going to be, but it's going to be house on fire. Lots of fireworks on the Zimbabweans. I think I don't envy their defenders right now. Yes, I don't envy them.
Quality. A side has got every reason to actually want to crush them. A side has got the biggest players in quality all around in Africa, and trust me, at this point, going into this particular game, it's going to be a very, very big game for them. This sort of game is a make or mar game for Zimbabwe. It's this sort of game that actually elevate players. If they come all give their where this sort of games where clubs get to see players and say, okay, this guy's actually good to play at the highest level. It's not going to be funny to see a player like Victor Osimhen, one of the best marksmen in the world, running at you 90 minutes. It's actually the Rwandans can actually tell they played behind their fans and they actually got, Osimhen actually got two behind them. So playing in front of your own fans or playing away from your own fans, playing against Nigeria and these sort of characters is going to be a very, very big game. Yes, but then the coach has got experience, like I said before. Nigeria should really watch it. It's not one of those games you think you just, come out of your shell and just walk Uyo and sit back and hit us on the counter. One goal and everything is gone. So we should really watch our back in this particular encounter. Nigeria is not yet there yet. And when coaches start making sort of statement, it tells you, that, everything is not actually right. They know what the plan is. every team has got a weakness. We should ensure that we actually watch our weakness and play to our strength and get the maximum point.
All right, playing to the strengths and getting the maximum 3 points is the goal in Uyo as the Super Eagles play host to the Warriors of Zimbabwe. Where the coach has said the players will have to play. Players have demonstrated their skill in previous matches and is looking forward to the opportunity to compete against the very best tomorrow against the Warriors of Zimbabwe is concerned.
Well, it's always amazing to be here. I mean, there are teams that we should not want to toy with. There's a particular Musona that's been talking to against Benin Republic. If they are taking their chances, as much as the team of Benin Republic, they have a lot of quality more than the Zimbabweans. But one thing that they did in that particular match was to leave a team. We have the stars, we have the for pound, definitely we are way better than them. However, the Zimbabweans, they have a game plan and they are not shy in expressing themselves. If you watch their game against Benin Republic, like Ketch rightly said, we have to work on our weaknesses. Those guys can just score a goal and, that will be it. The reason why they drew that particular game was because their goalkeeper did not close it off the Zimbabweans. It's going to be a very tricky game tomorrow. We have to dot our I's, cross our T's, and ensure that we don't make any mistake. Teams have come here before, ensure that we don't draw or lose point to a Zimbabwe team. It's going to be an interesting game, and I'm looking forward to that particular game.
All right, Bayo, what do you make of access to is under tight lock and key to make sure that they are all concentrating on the game? Some have said a good way to go, some are not too happy with it.
I think it's a good way to go. The thing is this, there's a whole lot of distraction, especially you get to see them, and that brings a whole lot of distraction. This is not the time for you to be sorting out or some baba, drop something for the boys. This is not the time to attend to them. After the game, they will have the whole time to do whatever they want to do. This is not the time for them to start going to parties. Remember, they have friends in Nigeria here that want to drag them out and distract them. This is not the time. So I mean, wonder, that is far away from that they have. It's not that much, and that's the kind of performance, cutting all distractions off, telling them, this is business. This is not time for distraction. Is the way to go. That just say concentrate 100% to ensure that there are no mistakes, that we get the job done, and we secure the 3 points. I mean, if we have 9 points, it gets us closer to South Africa, and that puts a whole lot of pressure on South Africa and the rest of the teams ahead of us. So
as well for talking about the Super Eagles of Nigeria, and of course, I just made mention of the closed door session, limiting journalists, fans, family members from having access to the Super Eagles. Some have said that a good way to go. Some are not so happy with it, that they will not be getting foreign exchange. They will not be visiting the Aboki very soon, until maybe after the match.
Well, Jerry, just imagine a person who is preparing for exam, a very crucial exam to the next, stage, and then you're living in a very noisy neighborhood where kids play. I'm talking about a child now, where kids play, and then you just by peeping through your window, you see perhaps they are doing that particular thing that you love to do the most. It's going to really distract you. So just imagine your parents decide to actually take you to another environment so that you can actually stay away from those sort of noise, or put you inside a particular room where this noise will not get close to you. These players don't need it at this point. If they must go to the World Cup, they need 100% concentration. And who is going to enforce that? Who is going to lead by example? Who is going to show them how to go about it? He's the leader of the house. He's the father of the team. And Eric, for me, is actually doing the very best. His attitude so far reminds me of the big boss. He's the only one who has been able to actually contain, the Super Eagles players after, the likes of Joe Bonfrey and, of course, Clemens Wester have left. This thing, because he knows that apart from, the fact, for me, these guys also understand the assignments. They want to be in the next Mondial. They want to be there. They need part of their career when they start talking about the entire nation smiles.
All right, and of course, it looks like the love between Genotro and Nigerian football continues with his recent revelation where he said that South Africa in their upcoming World Cup qualifier against the group leaders just days after they drew 2-2 with Zimbabwe after squandering a 2-goal lead. The match will take place at their adopted Raw emphasized the importance of winning for all teams in the group, highlighted the need for his team to secure a victory against South Africa. Raw acknowledged that Nigeria is also looking to capitalize on their recent 2-0 win over Rwanda and will be eager to defeat Zimbabwe. I think he should concentrate on his game plan, and if he defeats South Africa, it's also good for Benin Republic, not for the Super Eagles.
Well, a particular group, right? And then the Super Eagles at this point actually need their strongest opponent to actually go down or have bad day. So yes, it is true. He knows. Again, I'm not going to take away the fact that what he's saying is also a mind game to actually make the Super Eagles lose, because this sort of things put us in a very bad position. It makes it seem like our destiny is actually in their own hands, while at this point it's still very much in our hands if we can win all of our 6 games, right? But then his job, or he wants to actually tell the Super Eagles that if we qualify, cannot throw rather. Is it that he is trying to tell the Super Eagles that if we qualify, we have everything, we have sort of mind games that we're talking about? But the permutation here, the only permutation here that I see is for Super Eagles to win all of our 6 games. Every other thing doesn't count. I've always said it that no other team in this particular group can win all of their 6 games. So the Super Eagles remains the only team with that quality, and all it takes at this point is the right mindset, and which is what Eric Sher is trying to enforce. So I don't have any issues. Let him keep saying whatever it is. When it's their turn to actually play Super Eagles, it's just music to my ears.
All right, 11 points, and South Africa, they are on 10 points. I think it's going to be a very difficult call. If they play a draw as well, I think it's also favoring the Super Eagles. Super Eagles can also climb to the, well, anyway, on head-to-head, because they lost to Benin their last time out. So it's a difficult call. I think the calculations are very rowdy at the moment and hazy until when I can now say for sure, if the Super Eagles win their next game first, then hopefully they will have to start calculating that. His love with the Super Eagles continues. Interested in what happens in the camp of the Eagles than what happens with his team, Benin Republic.
The thing is like Kechu correctly said, he's just trying to play mind games. That's just it. He would like to get one over the Super Eagles, and that's just the honest truth. Remember how he departed Nigeria with the way to get one over Nigeria. So him saying beating the South Africans helps Nigeria. It does not help Nigeria. It puts them in a poor position. The thing is, the only thing he can do for us at the moment that can have position. If they draw, Benin goes to 9 points, Nigeria goes to 9 points. That puts them under a lot of pressure. If we win all our game, it means we would have beaten South Africa and will be 1 point better than South Africa. So a draw in this particular game actually favors Nigeria. Benin Republic winning does not favor Nigeria, and that's just the honest truth. If they win, they are on 11 points. They are 2 points better than us. I'm hoping that we win our game. They are 2 points better than us. They will just need a draw against us to be able to to see whatever it is that they are trying to say. So a draw in this game is the ideal result. So if he loves us so much, he should ensure that his team draw against South Africa, not beat South Africa. As it is, we just need to hope that South Africans and Benin Republic, they do us a huge favor. They have to draw that particular game. If they don't draw, that puts our World Cup qualification, just hoping that for the sake of our, World Cup aspirations, that the game ends in a draw.
All right, the game ends in a draw, and of course, 1 loss and just 1 win. 3 draws, I beg your pardon, and 2 losses in that one. And we hope that the Republic will have what it takes, because if you take a look at the South Africans, they're riding on a very good form, and they have a lot to show for their efforts. And they're talking about their home games. They won 3 of their home games. Just record, but the away form, just 2 games away. They've lost 1 and drew 1. So they are going on a neutral ground, whether I like it or not, and they will fancy their chances. They were at the Nations Cup where they go to the semi-final in this same Cote d'Ivoire. So it's going to be a very keenly contested game as far as that one is concerned. And so we're praying that they play a draw when Benin Republic take on South Africa. But I think it's going to be difficult on Benin side. But we're going to try. I think he's done it before. He should be able to at least get a draw this one.
Well, if you ask me, right, I'll prefer that particular game Republic than South Africa, and that's what the truth is. So if it's a victory for Benin Republic, I know they will submit that 3 points. But if South Africa gets the win, or if it's a draw, it's going to be very tricky when we're going to play against South Africa again. And at this point, we need everything to put South Africa in a position where their morale will be dampened. So if they get to be in a position where they really feel like they really don't have anything to play for, it's going to be so good, like play for draw. And that's not exactly what we want. South Africans are very quick. If they sit back and hit us on the counter, they have a side. They are a good side that can actually bury their chances. So it's not a side we want to joke with. So Benin Republic getting a 3 point against South Africa for me is going to be an for me. If South Africa gets to actually lose that particular game against Benin Republic and get another draw before play the Super Eagles, I mean, for me it's a game over. But Benin Republic is going to be a lot easier for Nigeria to play against. And I know that yes, they might have 1 or 2 players who are actually Nigerians by origin who want to actually prove that they are good enough to actually be part of the Super Eagles. Like Maiwa rightly said, Genetro has Super Eagles. Our relationship didn't actually end on a smooth note. So I want to show you guys that I'm still that man who is who has shown that I've got the quality to be the best. Playing against Nigeria with Benin Republic is where Nigeria should actually be very careful. We need to actually have him in a position where he's going to want to come out and play. And playing against Nigeria at that point is then it's going to be smooth sail all through. But if they end up playing a draw against South Africa, playing against us is going to be difficult. They might decide to actually lock the game, hoping that if they actually get the draw against Nigeria, Nigeria is also still going to play against South Africa. So they might just look at getting a draw against Nigeria and then hope that Nigeria and South Africa cancel themselves out. So these are all of the permutations. So if we must get all of the 6, every team that is going to be, our biggest threat has to be so comfortable when they want to play us. Not that they will be in a position where they will want to play us that is ready to fight.
All right, Richard, actually building a good team that's ready to fight for every situation. Let's talk about the Nations League. The Final Four has been talking about done and dusted. It looks like we already know who is going to play in the last 4. We have Germany, Spain, France, and Portugal. What more will you say about after the Hoylon? why are you laughing? Hoylon will show you how to celebrate.
I mean, Highland was trying to teach Ronaldo his job, and Ronaldo showed him that, Portugal came back and showed him that, you are just a small boy. You don't know how these things are done. And, and they did a fantastic job. And they are in the semi-finals again. Amazing performance from Ronaldo and his team. They've been very excellent. A lot of people, say Ronaldo is aging and the rest of that. But what it brings is with money. And that is what we have seen again. Unfortunate for Holland, I was for Netherlands. For Netherlands, I felt a bit bad for them with all the fight they put in. But the 17-year-old boys of the Spanish national team, they are proving once again that they are one of the best to when the semifinals start. Big teams, facing off, and that's what we want to see in the nations.
The Italians, they started like they were a house on fire, and of course, too sad that Calafiori is going to be out for a long period of time, mostly for Arsenal. It's a sad news for them. But what happened to Italy? They were looking like they were going to oust. They still gave a good account of themselves. France as well. Kylian Mbappe will say is back, but he must also give it to Portugal. Cristiano Ronaldo showing that form is temporary, class is permanent.
Absolutely, Cristiano Ronaldo. You cannot overemphasize the quality Cristiano Ronaldo brings. The Italian side, I was rooting for them to get to this stage, but unfortunately, they met a side in this German side inspired by Joshua Kimmich. Kimmich was instrumental in the double leg assist and 1 goal. I think they won 5 in the last meeting, so it tells you a lot about how much they've been dominant in this particular encounter. And going in this particular game again, France I mean, France has the best set of players across Europe. But do they have a team? Is where they actually, when we look at European countries that have, what is actually a team to actually compete. After the World Cup, they lost to Argentina. Their team, the level of their team actually dropped. The quality of the players still very much intact, but everything that he has to stay back in Real Madrid to pick up form and all of that. But then they are back. They've shown why they're actually the team with the biggest asset. The assets. France in the semi-finals of the just concluded Euros. Lamine Yamal's spectacular goal in that particular game. Again, this is going to be a super cracker game. I don't know how their midfield is going to actually contain this. He might have one or two things to tell Zubimendi, because it is his position that it is Rodri's position.
He had the most tackles in this round. Talking about Zubimendi.
Exactly, it is a more difficult fight.
Talking about France, this certain player, since I saw him for PSG, he just played only 55 minutes. I had the most
this particular tournament. So it is big. It's going to be a very big game for the Spanish side. They like the Spanish side. Many of these guys are still very much young, apart from the likes of Ruiz and of course Zubimendi, who are actually experienced in the middle of the park. It's going to be a very interesting game, and not forgetting this particular, French side, Spanish side that
Lamine Yamal,
the guy is going to be, if Spain is going to get all the wins.
Of young talents. Talking about Spain and France, I can't wait to see De La Fuente versus Didier Deschamps, who is already turning to a veteran. Like France against Spain. This is what we want to see when it comes to the Nations League. When Europe said that they want to host a competition, people will be so glued to see the best of the best. This is the kind of matches they are talking about.
Yeah, definitely. It is the battle of the youth. And if you take the average age of the Spanish national side, I think the average age is about 21. That's the average age of the Spanish national team. They are so young, and it shows, the investment this people put in the academy is paying out. The same thing goes for France. Look at how that team has changed. Look at how they've transformed that 2018 team till now. In the space of 7 years, they are very, very talented. And this is the kind of final, this kind of semi-final. I would have loved to have this kind of, in the Euros, Spain was able to outplay France, a Michael Olise, in as much as I wanted him to play for Nigeria, I think he's beginning to flourish in the French national team. And it's also very, very fantastic. He doesn't really shout, but his work rate is, is top notch. There's a Yamin Lama who is a ball mover who can change the game, elevating about that particular game. That's
I will not miss those games for anything in the world. All right, Mario, we'll just have to wrap it up so we can leave. Big thanks for being a part of Locker Room.
Well, it's always amazing to be here, and I hope by this time tomorrow, Nigeria is already winning 3-0. Thank you for having me, Jerry.
Okay, thanks as well to the guys behind the scene. It's been awesome having you guys join us on Locker Room. My name is Jerry Apelai saying thanks for being a part of the show. Until we meet again, stay safe, and if not, to the third date, the Sport Trade.
Catch up with the latest topics making the buzz, the stories that tick, the trends. Let's let you in on why they are trending. From politics, entertainment, health is a state. Are you ready to connect with distinguished Nigerians around the world? The Diaspora Perspective is here to share the views of Nigerians in the diaspora on burning issues.
From the street of New York, the royal cities of London, and the bustling cities of Europe, Voice of the People Television brings to you a roundtable and collage of interesting views from Nigerians in diaspora.
Join the host of the show and some Nigerians in diaspora.